good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, a lot to get into on today's episode as think there needs to be a little conversation here. Seems like there are some people mistaken with what the real expectations are for this season moving forward. We got to talk about how the Chicago Bears are thinking playoffs and just have to get the deal done. On top of that, we got to talk about where this team does need to improve. There's a real conversation on that. There's some simple things that after watching the film, we need to take a look at and say, hey, listen, these are things that are fixable for this team, especially after a tough Packer loss. Ladies and gentlemen, the date is 12/9/2025. It's 7:03 in the morning. And don't let a hater Bears fan around you mess up your vibe. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm talking about. Don't let a hater Bears fan around you. Oh, well, if they can't beat the Packers, then they shut up. Sitting 9-4 year one of Ben Johnson must want to come out here and act like they sitting there knowing everything about the team. You don't know nothing. You don't know a six-pack of bull knuckles for all I care. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Another good morning to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. A lot of dope subs in the chat, rocking with us as always, man. We got up in this much. Shay in the building. Jimmy Hoffa, resident Packer fan, who's beating his chest a little bit as always. Sun Valley said, I can't use the bathroom until I hear Pat's voice in the morning, so I'll wait. Don't be irregular because of us, my guy. You know what I mean? Although we are pretty regular on this show. No, appreciate y'all for showing love as always, man. Let's jump into it because I think there's a lot of people that would look at this Sunday's game and would change their perception of what the season has been. Doesn't matter that you beat the Eagles. Doesn't matter that you're 9-4. Doesn't matter that you've got the best run game in football that has traveled all across the country at this point. Doesn't matter. Like there's a lot of conversation around this team that is negative after what was a hard-fought, tough loss. And I think that the conversation that needs to be had around this Chicago Bears team should be more built around what the true focus of this team is, which is that the Bears are now pretty consistently being put up there as a playoff team. Latest playoff models from ESPN Chicago, from ESPN overall, show that the Chicago Bears are now a 70% chance favorite to make the playoffs over the Detroit Lions, who have dropped to a 40% chance to make the playoffs. And essentially, the Chicago Bears control their own destiny. There's a lot of things that could happen this week. Now it's 70% right now, right? They are at, I believe, 40% chance to win the division. So there is that conversation as well. I don't know if we'll win the division. I hope that the Bears can fight back. But I think that the biggest thing that you need to do, especially over these last 4 games of the season, is take care of your business at home. Now, I would like to see you not lose out the rest of the way. I would like to see you win 4 games in a row. But you got 3 of 4 in your building, and this is the best opportunity for you to take advantage of what other teams have seen you do on tape with your fans behind you. There's a lot of belief in that building. To me, there's a great conversation on this Chicago Bears team being the best running football team in the NFL. I know a lot, this team I'm thinking of, the Buffalo Bills, I believe, still hold that number 1 spot. As welcoming into the show, Mr. Medium Sub Jordan JC.
Hi-yo.
Who seems to have a computer that hates him only when the show starts.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Funny how that happens.
Computer was like, oh, you thought you were getting in? Not today, buddy.
Dog, the whole screen went black. I'm like, all right. Come on.
All right, time for an upgrade, bud.
Yeah.
Time for a little upgrade. I'm going to start sending some PCs your way.
Hey, Chat, why don't you give some money to the meaty fund?
The meaty fund?
What's going on, everybody?
Nothing much, my guy. Nothing much. But no, I think that talking about this Bears team and kind of, their playoff hopes moving forward, like, you control your own destiny. You're at home. Your run game has dominated this entire time. You have a true offensive line. To me, the last piece of the puzzle is turning what you saw in the second half into what you do the entire game. You have to get off to quicker starts. But that goes down to everybody. I got a chance to watch the tape. By the way, before we go too deep dive into some of the tape stuff today, and why, after watching that, I do feel the Bears are playoffs. We had a caller on ESPN Chicago. A lot of people saw that. Ishmael called in. I think he is a supporter of the Breeze.
Okay. Shout out Ishmael.
And he pointed out that he could always tell when Luther Burden was when it was a run or a pass because of Luther Burden's mouthpiece. So that lime green mouthpiece dangling in there. Whenever it's a run, you kind of know that okay, the Bears are going to run the football in this situation. Or if it's a pass, he's got his mouthpiece in. I watched every Luther Burden play. I will say I didn't see a pass where his mouthpiece was not in, or where he expected to get the football, if you know what I mean. Like there's certain plays where you're the 3rd or 4th read, so you're probably not expecting to get the football. Sometimes the mouthpiece would dangle then, and it would be a pass. Other times, there were run plays where the mouthpiece was out. There was also plays where the mouthpiece was in. So I wouldn't say that it's a tell. I would say that if you sit there, which NFL coaches will do, and percentage it out, more times than not, if his mouthpiece is not in, we know we don't have to worry about you. Or it's a run play.
I don't know if I like that.
That can change how defenses scheme against you and stuff like that. So stuff that you got to get corrected, little stuff like that. But no, like the biggest thing for me when I watch this team on tape, and why I think the conversation is now, and Ben Johnson talked about it yesterday, the goal is to get to the postseason, and these are certain things that you have to improve to get to that postseason. There's a lot of good on the tape. Problem is, it's only in one half. The good thing is, it's in the second half of football. But you spend so much time trying to fight your way back because, like I talked about yesterday, some of the small plays that you dealt with are, I don't want to say they're the game of inches are the difference between they kind of are. They're the difference between you being a really good team and a good football team. Right now, the Chicago Bears are a good football team. I would say at a minimum, your expectation should be to make the playoffs as the 7th seed in the wild card. That's fine. You take second place in the division. You're a year ahead of schedule. You're at a spot none of us thought you were going to be at. If you don't allow Bo Melton to have an explosive play, I believe there were 8 explosive plays in that game versus the Packers. If you don't allow Bo Melton to have that explosive play, if you don't allow Josh Jacobs to have that explosive play, we could be sitting here having a different conversation. Yeah. Truly, it comes down to, after watching the film, 2 big plays that if you stop them, it's advantage Bears. Especially with how you played in the second half. The second half was almost perfect, except for for that final pass. I don't know why I said it like that, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like.
It sounded just like that. I did it, and I was like, what the heck was that? By the way, Jordan JC, I don't know if you noticed. Hit that like button. Right. If you have not done so, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Super chat from Tar Hockey, which feels wrong every time I say it. Right. I mean, I'm happy for our progress given last year, and I know we're only going to get better in the years to come, but dang, these mistakes are killing me. They're not many. They're not many. Again, this is why I say it. We weren't supposed to be here. And now you've sat here and said, we're supposed to go to the bowl. No, we're not there yet. I think that's what's happened to a lot of Bears fans. These are small tweaks that are fixable and aren't talent issue.
Yeah, when you look at the entire game as a whole, I mean, again, the one I keep going back to is the Josh Jacobs play on 3rd and 1. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is a bowling ball, and the weather is already cold. I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys were like, oh, my God, we got to try and tackle this dude, barreling down, trying to get a first down. So I get it, but at the same time, those are things that those are fundamental things that you should know, like arm tackling versus shoulder tackling and just trying to run into a guy. That's important. That could have changed the game. That could have, put us in a position where we probably would have been able to be successful and win and come back and win the game. Outside of that, obviously, you mentioned it. Playing a complete game is very, very important. We are a good second half team. Matter of fact, I would say we are a great second half team. We know how to make adjustments off of what we've done in the first half and continue to really make it difficult, not just in our way of effective scoring, but also allowing the opponent to put up points. Our defense tightens up to a certain degree. And I'll be the first one to admit, I bragged a lot about how the fact that I thought that because we had 10 days before to game plan for this game, that Ben Johnson was just going to be just completely prepared for them and that this first half was going to look like the second half. That was my expectation because I'm like, this guy's dialed in. You give him 3 extra days to come up with the scripted plays and, kind of look at the tape on this defense and what they like. I thought like, oh yeah, we're going to be ready and we're going to win. That was my confidence. But of course, you have to give respect to the fact that Green Bay is a top 10 defense. Their guys are flying all over the place. They have a fast defensive line. And Jordan Love and this offense with all these different receivers and options are still good. We can still give that respect to that degree to Green Bay Packers. It's still FGB though. But at the same time, I'm excited because the expectation is raised. And that's why you have comments like that from Tar Hockey, which you think, oh, okay, I don't want to see mistakes anymore. I expect a certain level of perfection now. Well, yes, I believe that we do need to pump the brakes. We know that this Bears team is still growing. We know that this Bears team has still got a lot of improvements to make in different areas, whether it be the penalties, the pre-snap penalties, sometimes the false starts, sometimes the errant throws from Caleb Williams in the beginning of the game where he's just overthrowing guys that are supposed to be layups. Again, these are things that can be easily fixable as we go along. And so you expect it because we're way past where we thought we would be. We're ahead of schedule, I would say, by a year. We've always talked about it, especially recently. We're ahead of schedule, I think, by a year and a half. And so you're happy about where you're at. I do think this is a playoff team, even though we haven't necessarily officially made it. I believe these next 4 games, we win at the very least 3 out of 4. I think we have a chance to win all 4. I know Cleveland is going to be a task defensively. Going back home versus Green Bay, you already got tape on them, so I know that they're going to be ready for that, and the home advantage of that, and the weather, even though Green Bay's used to the cold. And then, of course, San Francisco and Detroit. I think you get a get-back game with Detroit and San Francisco might be the challenge, but I think we might win that one as well. And so you feel good about what this team is doing going into the most important part of the season.
Yeah, listen, that's all you can ask for. Be able to control your own destiny. Nothing else is promised to you. It's about what you can do. If you can control your own destiny to finish out a season, that's a great place for you to be. Like literally, if Green Bay loses to Denver, which that defense being able to pressure Jordan Love might be a situation, right? Like we saw that play out in Cleveland. If Green Bay loses to Denver and the Bears beat the Browns, everyone's going to have to relax a little bit because the Bears will be right back in first place. The Rams cannot have the tiebreaker versus the Bears at any point for the rest of this season. And so, to me, you're in the best position to finish this season out of anybody. Now, you still got to beat Green Bay. That you have to, like Green Bay, if they went out right, that's a different conversation. So it could change your seeding as far as that. But like, you could go into the playoffs as a very confident, dominant team. There's a lot of opportunity for you to be able to walk down that pathway, especially when you look at the things that need to be fixed and how close you are to having them fixed. Think about where we came from, not even last season, this season, to where we are now. We went from not being able to close out divisional games to winning most of our conference games, to winning most of our conference games, and being able to go out there and have something dominant on the offensive side of the football. Are there pieces that need to be fixed? Sure. You don't have a defensive line. That's a next year issue. It's not going to be fixed this year. You need more health in your secondary, but you've still got some really good pieces on that secondary. You've got some great, linebacker pieces out there that when they're healthy, TJ Edwards being back, impact was felt. So like, I feel like there are things that we see on a play in, play out basis where we go, they're good at that. And will continue to be good at that. That's what you say about, everybody take a breath, good football team.
Oh, really?
I mean, honestly, what are the Browns good at offensively? There's good on both sides of the ball. There's dominance in positions on both sides of the ball. You're a great takeaway team on the defensive side, and you're a great run team on the offensive side. You got to get the rest of it to where it is great. And again, it's my confidence comes not from the fact that it's a blind faith situation. It's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson getting into the meeting room, getting into the workroom and saying, listen, this is what we need to improve on. How do we miss this tackle here? How do we not make this pass here? And it goes to Caleb Williams. I think one thing to also say, when you watch the first half tape, I know Ben set the 70% goal, but with how he started, with how he's got Caleb's mindset right now of essentially, if it ain't there, don't be Superman, throw the football away. There's a lot of that in the first half. That's never going to help your percentages get to 70%. There is a lot of, there's nothing there, get rid of the ball. I mean, I would say probably 5 of his incompletions, 3 of the first 5 for sure, is throwing the football away. Now, what hurts you in that is now that he has that pressure in his face, now that he is throwing that football away, you're not getting enough from, you're not getting the consistency in his footwork. And that is why a wide open 19-yard pass that should have been completed and probably could have gone for 25 to 30, an explosive that Ben Johnson draws up for you to Luther Burden, sails 30 yards above his head. Like the biggest thing that Caleb Williams needs to improve, and I think it's what you saw in the second half, is in the second half, he started the second half off with really good footwork, and it continued the rest of the half. In the beginning of the game, he did not. Footwork was all over the place. He's running around. He's trying to set his feet. He's throwing off the back foot. He's like those are things, mechanical things that sometimes just take time to fix. By the way, while you're fixing those things, you're 9-4 right now, second in the division, trying to prepare for the playoffs. And you look pretty good on certain things on both sides of the ball, especially the run game. You've probably still got it. And I would say watching that game, mark it down, best offensive line in football. Watching the tape on that game, like,
yeah,
what they did to Michael Parsons, and listen, Micah's a game wrecker, but what they did to Michael Parsons on some of them plays where it was just, hey, like, you're not going to stop him, but just contain him, pass him off to another dude that's also going to be able to hit him. That sounded crazy, but like, keep doing that every play. You saw what it was at the end of the game.
I saw the post-game interview. It wasn't, I don't believe it was Aaron Andrews. I believe it was the other
Pam Oliver.
Yes, Pam Oliver. No, not Pam Oliver. She looks like Aaron Andrews. I can't remember her name. We talked about her during the NFL draft when she was standing with in that picture of Dennis Allen that we always laugh about, and she was standing with one of the rookies that we were looking at, the lineman from LSU. I can't remember her name for the life of me. And you'll know who I'm talking about eventually. But my point is making that Micah Parsons even said that, they were holding him all game, and you saw that he was gassed at the end of the game to the point where he wasn't even involved in some of the pivotal moments. But the overall feeling that you get is that now you've even gotten the respect from some of the players. There was an Xavier McKinney, I believe, post where they asked him after the game, were you all actually prepared for that last play that, Kayshawn Nixon picked off? And he said, no, we thought that they had our number.
He saved my butt.
Yeah. Yeah. Like initially we were supposed to, have that Cole Kmet throw wide open.
Yeah.
And so, the fact that now, even when you read a few tweets, obviously, still obviously a very charged up rivalry, but there are some Packers fans that I've even read like, oh, you got to give respect to the Bears for the way that they played. This is now a quote unquote rivalry. It's not lopsided anymore. It doesn't feel lopsided. It felt like, from now, moving forward.
Hey, you got to win some.
Work to do.
I'll say it feels like you can come with more punches.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'll say if it feels like you can come with more punches, you still got to win the games. You got to find your footing in this rivalry. You haven't had it for a long time. It's still a hammer and nail situation. But here's my big thing, right? There's like K2 Clips in here who's in here losing his mind over, the Bears losing this game, which I get. I've always said this. I want to beat the Packers. I want to win every game, but I really want to beat the Packers. But there's a mindset in Bears fan that is, if you lose to the Packers, you can't win. That's not true. Now, you need to win the rest of them. Unfortunately, you split with Minnesota. You now need to split with Green Bay this year, and I think that you will with the second game coming up. And you also need to split with Detroit because of how you started the season. But don't let a loss versus Green Bay change your definition of how good this football team is and can be. Now, eventually, the goal is to take back the rivalry. The goal is to win the rivalry. The goal is to dominate the rivalry the way that we've been dominated for 20 years. Really 30 if you go back. I mean, it's kind of starting like 92. But I think that people look at the Green Bay game as the measuring stick for how far a team can go. And we saw a team, I mean, in a year where we won one and lost one to Green Bay, we saw a team go to an NFC championship game. In a year where we won one and lost one to Green Bay, we saw a team go to the Super Bowl. Like I don't know if people know this, like they get paid too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part that is funny. Like, we talked about this yesterday on the Chicago Bears podcast, me and Shay Norling. And this is the part to me that stands out. Where does your euphoria come from? Did you convince yourself that the Chicago Bears were going to the Super Bowl? Or did you convince yourself that they were ahead of schedule? My euphoria in this team, 110% comes from Ben Johnson. That's it. I know that we have a coach that game in and game out will take us into a game and have us prepared for that game.
Mm-hmm.
The play calls that Ben Johnson makes in the first half are exactly what you want to see. You just got to execute them better. For everybody, oh, what a terrible script. What a horrible game plan. No, it wasn't. It's actually a really good game plan.
Yeah.
Because those same plays are the plays that you ran the multiples off of in the second half, where I see Kayvon Nixon following DJ Moore on that end around that you tried to run in the first half that ends up getting blown up and tackled for loss. But now they've seen that, so they're like, are they going to run this play again? He chases DJ Moore across the line, little pitch play to Swifty. There he goes.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Or even motioning Cole into the backfield. You did that with Colston in the first half. Now, in the first half, it didn't go anywhere because Colston misses his block. In the second half, it works perfectly because Cole makes the block. They're following the play, except now it's a boot to the left for an easy pass. Or boot to the right for an easy pass.
Mm.
But in Green Bay's mind, we saw this play in the first half. We got to get down there. That's a good play caller.
Yep.
Like, that's a good game plan. You have to execute. It's okay to say it's the player's fault sometimes. Ozzie Trapillo getting blown up on third one is his fault. Ben called the right play. You got to make the play. Like, that to me is what we saw in that first half versus the second half, where execution was locked in. This is a young team. They're going to take some time. They're going to figure it out. And all of a sudden, 4 quarters of a game, we're going to see this actually start working.
Yeah, even to your point, the Olamide Zaccheaus block that got blown up on the screen pass, I believe it was to DJ Moore. That was very they snuffed that out very quickly. But to your point, there was something that you mentioned earlier about Caleb's ability to kind of clean up some of the things.
Down there, Blaze the Nugs.
Oh my God, Blaze the Nugs. He's always saying something. I'm not even surprised anymore.
Said JC, take that shirt off. Show us them tatas. Whoa.
Come on, bro. You gotta calm down.
Look what you've done. You gotta relax.
You're an animal. No, but to your point about like the footwork, there was a specific play when Caleb Williams was scrambling out, I believe, to the right. It was a 2nd and 10 play, I want to say, and eventually he completed it to Devin Duvernay for I want to say maybe a 15 to 20 yard pass, and it was a very good throw. But what impressed me most is that instead of what he usually does, throwing it on the run, which he could have done, he calmed down. He stopped, stood still, got his footing, and then threw it.
Yeah.
To me, Caleb
the
doesn't
Duvernay pass.
do that. Yes.
Yeah, the Duvernay pass. Yeah.
To me, you don't see that same type of patience and poise, and just kind of calm down in the moment. Okay, and now you're more accurate, because that was a very accurate throw. It was a pivotal throw as they were trying to get down the field, and so. again, those are the things that you look at and say, oh, he's making incremental progress here. It may not be consistent yet because there are times where he does, throw on the fly and does the crazy passes still and is off, kilter with his footing. And so you start to see it working. And that's the thing that you can get excited about moving forward as well is Caleb Williams will figure it out. Credit going back to the coaching staff. The marriage of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is just getting started. And so the more and more along we go here, I think that that's going to get cleaned up. I think that that's going to just be continually drilled into his head to, give those little attentions to detail in the game. And then you're going to start seeing that at the beginning of the game versus just after the second half or in the fourth quarter in a pivotal drive. You'll see a complete game from Caleb. And then you'll start seeing the 300-yard games and the 280s and the whatever that everybody is clamoring for in a win. And so I say the expectations are definitely going to be heightened, and they're going to be fun to look at going into the future.
Oh, dog, listen, I think that I don't think people realize how close you are to being dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said, listen, I think that next year is probably a year where you can realistically, now a lot of improvements have to be made at this defensive line. We'll talk about that coming up here in a sec. But I think that next year is the year where you probably say true contender, right? True, you should be in an NFC title game heading into that season. But if Caleb Williams goes from, where's he at right now, completion wise? And this will come from everybody knowing the system and everybody knowing where they need to be and him knowing the system like the back of his hand. Right now, he is at 57% completion percentage. New system. He came in 62 last year. Completion percentage is down. If he gets that to 65%, which will happen, it's just a matter of time here. Do you know how, he's a top 10 quarterback with his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
He is a elite level quarterback with the skill set that he has, because now not only are you getting the consistency in the passing game, you also still have the flashy plays. You also still have the amazing throws. That throw to Olamide Zaccheaus,
bro. How many quarterbacks can make that throw?
Bro, Mahomes, I've seen do it.
Maybe Josh. Yeah, I think Josh can do that.
I don't know. Now Josh is an amazing quarterback. I'm not saying that, but I don't think Josh,
the arm angle,
I don't think Josh has the and maybe that's the smarter way to play it, but I don't think he has the cojones to even try that pass. He threw it through the hands. I think it was of Kayvon Nixon,
bro.
I think like Kayvon Nixon got his get back, kind of.
Yeah, he did, but that still was amazing.
But you see the amazing throws, you see the off-platform throws.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to see is the consistency, setting up in the pocket, looking down the field, going through his reads, knocking that down. I thought he did that pretty well throughout the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a part of this where, sometimes you got to throw the football away. I think we saw that early. But can you get back to where your center is? That's the biggest thing that Caleb has to work on, getting back to where his center is. I feel like it took him probably till the middle of the second quarter to kind of find that, when he led that nice drive down. Unfortunately, it ends in a field goal, but you led that nice drive down and you were able to move the football. We really didn't see him, though, for a good portion of that first half, be able to do that. He never was able to refine that center. So to me, you talk about getting Caleb back to being a 65% completion quarterback and him understanding this system like the back of his hand. Sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're off to the races. Now you're a dominant football team. And I don't know if that's going to happen this season. I'll be honest with you. It probably can't happen this season. But if he can get there for the last 4 games and heading into the playoffs, Dangerous.
Watch out. Watch
Dangerous.
out.
But hey, man, we got to talk about some of the other things that need to improve on this team. I think there's some small things that popped out on tape. I wouldn't even say small. They're massive. They're small in what needs to be fixed. They're massive in the result. Let's say that. But first, we do want to get into a word from our sponsors over at Aura.
Amen.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got merch. That's right. New website, new merch, all out. We've been telling you guys to pull up on us. Now you can at twcbreeze.com, where you can find out all of the latest stuff going on. What all can they find there, Super Producer?
Listen, you can join the nation, sign up to our mailing list, and be up to date for events and news. You can also visit the shop page and order merch, because we have t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got mugs, we got hats, we got all kind of stuff. So, hey, we appreciate you being tuned in with us. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on all our socials. Check us out at twcbreeze.com.
He's way too excited.
I am.
I love our fans. I love our
I
chat.
don't even know if he's a fan. I just know he's here.
I love our chat.
He just in this mug, just it. Listen, Caleb Williams.
I like that angry cat just slapping down on the keyboard. That man
Is he
said if
doing
he ain't-
talk to text? Oh my
If he don't
God.
run out 16 for 16, I don't want him.
I don't want to hit no competitive
You guys
Hey
are funny.
man, appreciate
You guys
y'all
are
for tuning in and showing love. I love the passion, bro, but it cracks me up when adults type in all caps, bro. It's like, why turn the cap locks off? Just turn the cap locks off. We can have a regular conversation.
Shout out.
Who's in the chat? Somebody said, loud noises.
That was perfect.
Loud noises.
I love the passion, bro. Welcome back I almost said the Chicago Bears podcast. Welcome back in to the Morning Breeze, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's keep this thing moving along, bro. Listen, there are some things that definitely need to be fixed after this Packer game. I thought the biggest one that stood out to me is tackling. Poor tackling. I can say it so many times. Josh Jacobs a really good running back, right? We all agree. Josh Jacobs really good running back. He ain't even have to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were multiple times where he was looking a bear in the eye And that bear just said, I guess we falling. I don't know. I just gonna fall down real quick. This has been an issue all year. And it's an issue that I think is fixable. The reason I think that is our biggest issue is because you're not going to fix your defensive line. That is not fixable this year. That's who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Montez Sweat showing that he's got some really good skill. But if he's on the line by himself, it's GG's. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have to send the football his way. He's not creating enough pressure alone for you to feel good about him being able to have that consistency as far as pressure. Now he's got the sack. He's got the sack numbers, 8.5 sacks. I'm here for that.
That's true.
But you need pressure to be consistently deadly, and we're not seeing that from him right. Austin Booker's improving, long way to go. And I'll be honest with you. Listen, y'all know I'm a Austin Booker guy, but more than likely, we're heading toward a world where the Bears are going to try and replace Austin Booker this offseason with somebody bigger. Might I interest you in a Gabe Jacques?
What?
Gabe Jacques from Illinois. Not tapped.
Haven't
started the draft breakdown.
I didn't know that was his name.
6'3", 275. I believe 11.5 sacks on the season.
It's a
Really
elite
fits
name.
Gabe Jacques.
I like that.
You get the Gabe Jacques real quick. As one bad play. King Booker World said, "Here's $2, Pat." Thank you, King Booker World. Appreciate that.
Shout out to King.
But what you can fix right now, it's just sound tackling. And we didn't see that on Sunday versus the Packers. It's something that has popped up at times. And the Bears have done a really good job of gang tackling where, you get 11 hats to the ball and you're following around. They've been in those moments, but we've still seen people get away in some what seem improbable situations. And that happened yet again versus the Green Bay Packers. But those are things where it's literally, hey, get in there and tackle. And Ben Johnson's the kind of coach, and Dennis Allen I would throw in there as well, kind of coach like, hey, get in there and tackle or I will kill you. Mm-hmm. Like, I will actually, end you. Like, you need to be.
I will massacre you.
I think there's a part of it where it's Jalen Johnson just getting back, where it is, kind of a new unit tapping in and returning
seems
there and trying to. Seems a little bit slower. Definitely, I'll say this, probably isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Probably isn't
healthy. He wasn't
healthy.
supposed to be back, honestly.
Also is playing in his third, this, I guess coming up this week will technically be his third game in this system.
Yeah.
So there is a part of this that is a little bit of a learning curve as well. Not an excuse for a guy like Jalen Johnson. I've said he's one of the best DBs in football. Sure you should know the system like the back of your hands, but that Bo Melton touchdown is on you. But outside of that, there is this. We've seen this all season where it's like you should be able to make that tackle. They somehow don't make that tackle and it turns into an explosive play. We haven't seen it as consistently as we saw it in Green Bay on Sunday. But again, it's one of the best football teams we played this year. They're going to be able to attack you. So that's my biggest issue with where this team is at right now. And I think that's completely fixable. It's football. Tackle.
Yeah, I agree with you. My biggest issue, and to your point, I do agree that tackling is an issue. I would think that, based off of the things that you saw that worked against other teams, like even the Colston Loveland touchdown versus the Bengals, you should know fundamentally that you should be wrapping up. Like, it seemed like, again, Josh Jacobs was dead to rights. There were about 4 or 5 Bears in that vicinity before he even got past that initial wave. And so for me, that is a big deal. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the defensive line needing an upgrade in talent. I do agree that I love the fact that Austin Booker has gotten a shot. I thought that, when it comes to pressures, it seems as if on tape, he's always, almost getting to the
He's the
quarterback.
almost
in a lot
guy.
of plays.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
almost guy. We need a guy that will get there, that will get the job done. We got a lot of almost on the team. Even with Montez, I feel like sometimes there's almost with him. He records at least one sack now, which is good. But I feel like you need a guy that's really going to be a game wrecker consistently, where the other team just has to game plan, and you're like, oh no, we got to try to get this guy like they did for Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
You put a lot of attention, rightfully so, on him to not be a game wrecker on Caleb.
100%.
And so for me, that is a big key. My biggest key also is something that you can't technically control, but I want to see it improve, and that is the health of this team. It's starting to affect some of the long-term contracts, I think, and the conversation behind a couple of these defensive players. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm concerned about Kyler Gordon long-term. Kyler Gordon,
Yeah.
I know, got injured or had an issue in pregame warm-ups, and you expected to see him come back with Edwards, and he didn't. And now Kyler Gordon, in my opinion, is becoming a injury risk, where every time he goes out, it's for a hamstring or this or that throughout the season. And again, we talk about the best ability is availability.
Yeah,
that's starting to kind of be the label on him. Kyler Gordon is supremely talented. I've talked about it plenty of times. When he's on the field, he also is felt in as far as his impact, getting to the quarterback. But now when you have a guy like CJGJ, who has been in the game and technically kind of is playing that same role and has been playing his butt off, getting another interception, I believe totaling 10 tackles, 6 solo, 4 assisted.
Yeah.
Like, you might have a conversation where, hey, we might want to move forward with this guy, because the main guy that we put a lot of, trust in just can't get healthy. He can't get right. And so I think moving forward, as you mentioned a guy in the draft, I think that they will be looking to replace some of these guys on defense. This defense could look different next year.
Listen,
that's the thing that I'm expecting.
I told y'all at the beginning of the season, going into next season, your favorite Bear probably won't be your favorite Chicago Bear no more.
Yeah.
And Muzz was saying, "No, you can't get rid of this guy. Why would you ever get rid of him?"
Everybody was in caps.
I don't want
When
it.
I said trade Kyler Gordon for Myles Garrett? People were sitting there looking at me like I had a third eye on my forehead.
Oh, don't you do that, man.
I like pass rush. I said trade Kyler Gordon not Kyler Gordon. I said trade Jalen Johnson for Myles Garrett. I said trade Jalen Johnson for Micah Parsons. But then you're not going to have any coverage. But Nashawn Wright was our dang near 6-string DB. He now leads the NFL in takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Byard has a resurgence. Like it's obvious where you need to improve, and there are certain players that may not be a part of this team when that happens. JP the Bears, facts. I said it for Crosby too.
Yeah. I'll let anybody go for Crosby.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, it's just, if what you're seeing on the offensive side doesn't tell you that's how football works, then you shouldn't be having conversations about football. It's about the trenches. It just is. Like like I love Jalen Johnson. I want to see Jalen Johnson on this team. You know what I would love to see? The Bears go out and draft a Micah Parsons or a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby. I would rather live in that world, because that is a young, controllable pass rusher. But we passed on those guys.
Mm-hmm.
We passed on Jared Verse. We passed on Jalen Carter. We wanted to go a different direction. Now Darnell Wright looks phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
He's a big boy. He's moving out there.
Moving people.
Moving people 100%. But you also have to then say, okay, well, these are the pieces that we didn't get. And you tried to supplement that by going out and paying a bunch of other guys a ton of money to not get pressure. So, like, to me, I look at what this future of this team is and say, yeah, there's probably some guys that won't be here next season. I don't know if that's going to be Kyler Gordon at this point. I mean, listen, he just got paid. I would also say this. Don't look at what would the cap hit be if the dead cap is 17 million next year, 2 years from now, it'd be 5 million. You'd be able to move on from at 28 probably. Don't look at Kyler Gordon this season and say that's who he is. A lot of the injuries he's had have been like broken hand. But did he have like a broken foot? I got to look through all his injuries. But this year it's been mostly soft tissue.
Yeah.
I think soft tissue injuries and stuff like that come from, as J-Mac said, when they went from Dick Geron to Lovie Smith, you've been asked to do way more than you were ever asked to do. And I think we can say that for pretty much a guarantee at this point because you're 9-4 and you've done more than you've done in the past, 7 seasons?
Yeah.
Like you're in a different world right now.
So just to answer your question, Kyler Gordon, obviously before the game, the pregame warmups, he had a groin injury that was sustained. And then he also this whole season had a hamstring injury and then time on the IR for a calf injury. So he's been all over the map with these injuries this year.
But before that, I'm saying like season before, he had a hand fracture.
He did.
And he missed 4 games because of that.
Yeah.
And then he had a concussion. So he's had a concussion and a broken hand.
Yeah, a lot of injuries piling up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you had 1 concussion, you missed 3 games. You had a broken hand, you missed 4 games. That's not soft tissue stuff. That, like, when I see injury history, it's when you're always pulling a groin, when you're always pulling a hammy, when you're always on the injury report for something soft tissue, because that's stuff that like continues to find its way back. You're not gonna always break your hand.
Lingering. Yeah, right. I get you.
You know what I mean? Like now, if he was a heavy concussion guy, that'd be different.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not gonna always break your hand.
Yeah.
So I would say look at this season with Kyler Gordon as, okay, let's see if you can improve your body enough to be prepared for what DA is asking you to do next season. Because I just think that you're being asked to do so much more. And there's probably a lot of guys who came into this season who were like, I'm gonna work out. And I'm not to say you weren't working hard and you weren't trying to prepare your body, but you just don't know what your body had to be prepared for coming into this.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Yeah. Exactly.
There's a lot of levels to it. And you're playing at a level right now that, I mean, you have to be on your P's and Q's every single play. You have to be in tip-top shape on every single play because Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen are going out there and asking you to be fast, be physical, be aggressive, and do the regular stuff that you got to do with your job.
Yeah.
666 with a re-sign KB, CJGJ, go after an elite pass rusher in the offseason. Elite pass rush will make most DBs better. Sure, 100%.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Listen, you have to re-sign Deshaun Wright.
Yeah, you got to find a way to do that. Yeah.
Listen, I love KB, and KB has a real understanding of where he's at in his career. He said, I'm probably going to be signing 1-year deals the rest of my career. But I think that a guy like CJGJ, that might be a guy that you probably move on from.
Really?
And I love him, but like you can't sign everybody.
I don't know. I wouldn't let him go.
CJGJ or Jaquan Brisker?
Yeah.
Got to resign him too.
That's a good conversation to have because I mean,
by the way, you still got to sign a pass rusher.
I understand that, but you can get that in the draft and kind of sign that on the cheap. In my opinion,
that's what we've been doing. Look at our pass rush.
Yeah, but we haven't really
We
drafted.
haven't got one high. You need a first round pass
Right,
rusher.
you
We
need a
got a
first
second
round,
round, technically pass rusher in Shamar
Yeah.
Turner, who is out for the season.
Who's again injury. Yeah. So and we'll see if he even impacts anything next year. But that's my thing is that when you have players like a CJGJ who to me came in and impacted even just I feel like he's a part of the culture shift where
Sure.
we didn't get guys like that in the good old days where the Bears worried about, locker room presence and, the toxicity of a player. No, you want a football player. CJGJ impacts the game in so many ways. He gets in the head of his opponent. He is literally the Dennis Rodman of a team. You want him on your team, but you don't like playing against him.
Right.
Like we've seen him annoy us as Bears fans before. And so for me, I think the production along with that added little attribute, why would you want to give that up? And he also can stay on the field. He's healthy. I'm sorry. I'm taking a chance on that and maybe even paying him a little bit less than what I would have to pay somebody else like a Kyler or not a Kyler, but like a Jaquan who has issues with, concussion, has issues with, getting hurt at times and being out during parts of the season. So I don't know. That's a question to have. That's a conversation to have.
See, I think that's the tough part is we assume that he's going to take less. We assume that he's not going to want.
Yeah.
At least, listen, Kevin Byard's making 7.5. Like, he's going to want more than KB probably.
Jaquan?
No, I'm talking about
CJGJ.
CJGJ. Like there's always this belief, we brought him back. We saved his life. We have helped him find the Lord. And now he's going to sign for nothing. No.
Like a friendly discount.
You're signing Jaquan probably for 15. You're signing you're probably signing Nashawn around that same level. Nashawn is leading the NFL in takeaways right now. He's going to get a nice contract.
Oh.
You're probably going to have to move on. Oh, by the way, you still need a pass rush.
I'll admit, I do like this Willie Lampkin comment. Shout out to Willie Lampkin. Trade Stevenson and trade DJ Moore. Keep KB, keep Wright, keep CJGJ, and then draft the edge in the first round. I'm not mad at that direction as well. Because, at this point, you're not even using – and I'll admit, I love DJ Moore. I'm not saying that he's weak, that he's lost a step. He's just not being used the same way. Even with Rome Odunze out the game, DJ Moore – barely was in the game, barely was a part of the production. You had Luther Burden leading in receptions and yards. And so maybe it is time to have that conversation, as P. Kid mentioned, where you got to get rid of DJ.
He just had 64 yards and 2 touchdowns versus Steelers.
It's inconsistent, though. To me,
everyone's inconsistent. Who's the consistent wide receiver on this team?
I get that, but what I'm saying in the overall picture of the NFL, if you're saying that this is your number one guy,
we're not.
All the number one guys. We have
said
that DJ Moore is the number one guy on our team for 3 years.
Not this season.
Going into the season, did we not say that? Okay, it's a fight between him and Rome.
Then Rome won that fight handily.
Okay, but you're telling me that DJ Moore. Look at Cincinnati. You saying you can have 2 top players, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? They're finding a way to do it. I don't think that you have DJ Moore even in the realm of a T. Higgins right now.
You haven't had 2 top players consistently this entire season. What I mean is it's been a different guy every single game. Also, Caleb Williams has not been perfect, but it has been the Colston Loveland game. We have seen the Rome Odunze game. We have seen the DJ Moore games. We have seen the Luther Burden games. There is... Everyone has gotten involved in this. And I feel like because now we have new young pieces, which also is the way of the NFL. Doesn't mean that you don't get rid of DJ Moore. It's also the way of the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, I got younger pieces, and so I'm going to move on and bring those pieces in. But I don't look at that and say, oh, DJ Moore is not a part of this offense. DJ Moore is a major part of this run game and has been a major part of this passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the system, even you look at what Ben Johnson's comments were about the utilization of DJ. Caleb just didn't throw him the ball.
But we've seen that now for a while. I feel like that's been the running theme, even in the last coaching staff last year. Caleb just didn't throw him the ball when he needed to, and he started to get comfortable with Rome in those pivotal moments where he trusted in Rome and trusted in other players when it mattered most last year. And now this year, it's like the running theme again, where DJ, and of course we can argue about the fact that, DJ was open on that last play. I understand that he wasn't an option on the play, but again, that's another question. Why was he not an option? Why is he not an option? The fact that Rome wasn't even in the play or playing, why is DJ not even at least a first or second read option in a pivotal moment?
Because that's not what the play call was. The play call was one to Swifty.
Like Ben Johnson doesn't really think that he should be like the focal point.
No, it's just you didn't call a play that DJ was the number one on. You called a play where it was Swifty and it was Cole. That just worked the week before. Like, to me, I think we think of every play call as your number one should be your number one on every play call. No NFL team does it. There are plays where Jamar Chase is not the number one. Not the number one option, I should say, in that play.
Mm-hmm.
Where Jamar Chase is more of the safety blanket. There are plays where, now, do I think that Caleb throws the ball to DJ enough? No, I'm not going to sit here and say that DJ Moore has been an elite target this year, that Caleb has trusted and has wanted to get the ball to consistently. He's usually around 5 to 6 targets a game. But I think there's a lot of players on this team around 5 to 6 targets a game.
Mm-hmm.
Rome is usually the one that's around 8 to 9. When Rome was out, who was it this week?
It was Luther with 4.
No, Luther. I think it was Luther who led with target share with 6.
I'm sorry, 4 receptions.
Game
yards.
tracker. Who led? Like when you're living with this, you're not really living with the number one wide receiver. This is targets for the day: 5 for Colston Leveler, 6 for Luther Burton, 4 for DeAndre Swift, 3 for Olamide Zaccheaus, 3 for Cole Kmet, 3 for DJ Moore, 3 for Kyle Monangai, 1 for Durham Smythe, 1 for Devin Duvernay. Who's your number one?
And I get that there's a conversation to be had about the reason why you probably don't have as many throws to these receivers is because you have a really, really good run game. And that's another part of it is you're working.
You threw the ball 28 times.
Sure. Yeah. And that's to a certain degree on the threshold of a decent passing day. But you're also relying on 2 running backs that are very effective right now in getting yards. And so I get that point. I'm just talking about in the scheme of what can we fix moving forward, going into like looking into the future and looking into next season. Maybe, like you said, your favorite Bear not being a Bear next year. I think that there has to be a conversation that DJ has to be on that list.
I think the conversation is more about, I'm not saying it's not a conversation, but I would say the conversation to me is more about cheaper, younger players than it is about what Kid has said about the chemistry and not throwing the football to DJ and not wanting DJ to be a part of it in that situation. I saw people sitting there. I saw somebody tweet out, I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Bears Music, one of them. Like, I don't understand why DJ Moore was upset on this play. They had he wasn't even open on the option. Talk about the final play of the game. And I was just like, they just lost the football game.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation that has turned on DJ Moore annoys me so much because it's like at every turn people are like, well, because DJ's not catching 15 passes a game, they don't want him here. And that's not the conversation that I think we're having. If we want to have a conversation on, you got younger pieces that are going to come in and possibly replace him, welcome to the NFL. Like, that's a real conversation to have. But we just saw DJ Moore have a 2-touchdown game. We just saw DJ Moore, and we have seen DJ Moore this year be a safety blanket for Caleb on big throws on some of these late drives. Because there are times when Rome Odunze ain't catching the football. So to me, like, I feel it's almost the conversation has become DJ Moore is not good enough. Not that football is happening and maybe he's not a part of the future. But I feel the same way about Jalen Johnson. Like, it's almost like when we get rid of a player, we have to turn it into, well, he's not good enough for us to keep him anymore. No, your new coaching staff probably just don't want him. Or they brought in people to replace him. Or quiet as it's kept. We ain't seen him all season because of who knows. I don't know the reason or whatever it is. But like, Zay Frazier's the type of DB they want, not Jalen Johnson. Deshaun Wright is the type of DB they want, not Jalen Johnson.
That lanky, kind of tall build, yeah.
Does that mean Jalen's out? Maybe.
That's tough.
Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah. You better get them going.
Hey, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. A lot of content coming you guys' way as always. Got a ton of stuff. Me and Courtney today on the Chicago Bears podcast.
Oh, nice.
He is up for Walter Payton Man of the Year, by the way. I didn't even think about that.
I saw that.
You keep the Walter Payton Man of the Year. DJ is culture for the team and cares for the city. He's quick and smart enough on the field to keep him. He's also only 28. Like, let's talk about DJ like he's 75. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Follow us on everything at the Windy City Breeze, at WC the Breeze, I think it is. I don't know what our Twitter is. We got to figure that out. Got to streamline that. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer, at Jordan_Clemens for Jordan JC. Got to streamline y'all social medias as well. We'll get all that together. We'll turn you into content creators yet. Watch that. Hey, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.
Yeah, I agree with that. His contract says he's the number one. That's another issue. You make it 20-something million a year.
I mean, listen, I'm fine with saving the money on it.
Jeez.
Was it coming out of your paycheck?
That's right. Paying DJ to perform. I'm broke.
Bro, I'm so sore.
By the way, Relentless Mikey earlier when we were talking about everything in all caps. That man said, I just ate breakfast. I was cracking up earlier. Mikey, you are a fool. That was too
You
funny.
shouldn't be an adult typing in all caps. Why are you yelling?
Hey, man, they're passionate, man.